Welcome viewers, Dr. JWAU, theologist, the law that changed women's rights when female privacy became a negotiated space. A biological woman walks into a female change room. She's not thinking about legislation. She's not thinking about competing rights. She's assuming something civilization had quietly promised her, that no male would be there. For generations, that promise required no explanation. And then, one day, it did. This episode examines how legal recognition of gender identity, followed by institutional implementation, altered the certainty surrounding female-only spaces, leading many biological women to argue that privacy, safeguarding, and female autonomy had become matters of negotiation rather than settled protections. Viewers, female-only spaces were never created because civilization believed every male intended harm. They emerged because women repeatedly experienced forms of vulnerability men generally did not. Sexual harassment, sexual violence, medical exposure, pregnancy, childbirth, domestic abuse, psychological recovery. For generations, these experiences shaped an understanding that certain places existed for biological women alone. Bathrooms, hospital wards, changing rooms, domestic violence refuge, counselling centres. These spaces performed a quiet function. The moment a biological woman crossed the threshold, she no longer had to calculate male presence. She no longer had to decide whether objecting would create conflict. She no longer had to assess whether someone larger, stronger, or physically different belonged beside her during one of the most vulnerable moments of her life. Women escaping violence could begin recovering. Women receiving medical treatment could undress with dignity. Girls could mature without comparing every moment of privacy against the possibility of male observation. Women organised politically because they believed for a time that there remained places where female voices could develop without male influences directing the discussion. But viewers, the law changed. Institutions followed. Policies were rewritten. Staff received guidance. Access rules explained. Administrators were instructed to balance competing legal claims. And the sign on the door remained the same. The meaning behind the door did not. For many biological women, the change was not first experienced inside Parliament. It was experienced standing partially undressed, sitting inside a hospital cubicle, entering a refuge after violence, watching a daughter walk into a school change room. The institution no longer assumed female privacy. It evaluated it, and the burden quietly shifted. Women who questioned the change increasingly found themselves expecting to justify why the protections previous generations regarded as self-evident should continue to exist. The debate had moved beyond identity, beyond legislation, beyond inclusion. It had arrived at a more fundamental question. When biological women are at their most vulnerable, should female privacy remain an assured protection or become something negotiated after male presence has already entered the room? Female privacy changed the moment biological women became responsible for defending boundaries civilization had once defended for them.